the Sleep Geek Podcast. It's a raucous romp through the mattress industry with your hosts, Mark Kinsley and Mark Quinn. Dos Marcos. Mattress industry mavens, hang on to your quilted pillow tops because this tick's about to get real.
I think things are going to happen. I don't know. I don't have any kids.
You just need to shut up. You can't sit there and say, things are going to happen. I don't want to hear that. No parent listening to this right now wants to listen to that.
I mean, like, the mood lighting, like,
just because
the dimming is happening right now.
Stop it, man.
You're the one that put in, like...
You can't... This isn't your life. This isn't what you did when you were in 7th grade. Things are different today.
Well, you're the one that put in, like, this giant screen with, like, any movie that you can access on the planet. I mean, they're playing some rom-coms down there right now. You know where romantic comedies lead.
No,
in 7th grade.
No. I think they're watching Stranger Things, actually. So it's sci-fi.
Oh, hold on. I got to give a shout-out because we went live on Facebook here a few minutes ago. And so welcome. If you're watching live on Facebook, this is the Sleep Geek Podcast. He's Mark Quinn.
And that's Mark Kinsley. And you need to tell me when we're going to do live video and stuff because, like, I dress up. I put, like, a suit on or something.
And together we are Dos Marcos. Thank you very much.
Not Uno. Or Trace. We should get another Mark. We could go 3 Trace Marcos.
Yeah, no.
If this ever gets boring, we could do Trace Marcos.
I met 2 other Marks on a block the other day, and I'm like, oh my gosh! So if we added one, this is out of control.
Then that would be Quattro Marcos, which would probably be
just like a hair-lipped dog.
No.
Mark.
So no. So how's it going? Everything good for you?
Yeah, things are good. Things are good. I'm getting ready for the Sleep Tech Summit coming up in Santa Clara, California. So it's part of the Health 2.0 conference.
And you're going to go represent.
Oh, yeah. They actually reached out to Sleep Geek, so thank you so much to the National Sleep Foundation for reaching out to Sleep Geek.
Yep. And
they wanted us to come out there and cover it, and we've got some nice, cross-promotion going on, a little bit of article on the website.
So how did they come across Sleep Geek? I think that in itself is a success, isn't it?
Yeah. They said, we follow Mark Quinn on all his social media channels.
They did not.
And he let us know about you.
You're so full of it.
Because he is the only influencer that matters.
He's the only one writing a blog about this crazy industry, right? But no. So really, how did they come across Geek?
I did not ask the question.
Oh, all right.
So anyway, they got in touch with our social media manager, so I think it was in the social space. I'm going to find out more when I go out there. But it's going to be a place where a lot of like sleep tech entrepreneurs, because it is Silicon Valley, are launching ideas. They're pitching to VCs and things like that, trying to get some interest around their products and ideas. So I thought it'd be really cool for us to be boots on the ground. We've taken a trip to San Francisco in the past.
No doubt.
And if you want to come with me, you're more than welcome, and I won't take a picture of you lying on the ground after getting attacked by a Sasquatch.
Okay, let's not do that again. Like the last time in San Francisco, right? So we should go and be on a panel or something and like do a live Dos Marcos podcast, and then like all 6 people could show up, and it would be a great show.
You think they could handle it?
I don't know. It would be. Look. What are they talking about, right? I mean, we can insert some stuff. We can make it interesting, right? We could BS our way through some of that. I
literally had a conversation the other night. I was at dinner, and the waiter was a young college student, and he was saying, "Hey, do you have any advice? As I try to like get through school, because he knew my wife was a teacher, that had come up, and that we had both been to college. Like, and he was just asking about our college experience, and he goes, "Do you have any advice?" He goes, "Because the only thing I'm doing right now is I'm trying to sleep more." And I'm like, my eyes lit up, and I'm like, tell me about that. Like,
okay, but wait. How many college? He's in college?
He's in college.
So how many college students aren't trying to sleep more? I mean, why are you so impressed with that?
No, I was impressed with it because that was one of his strategies for improving his overall focus.
Okay, so he actually had a point.
He had a point to it, yeah.
Not just, all right.
I'm trying to do better in school. I'm trying to stay focused and increase my cognitive ability, essentially was what he was saying. So we started talking about sleep.
Nice.
So anyway, if you want to talk about sleep on the panel, we can make it interesting. And this young man named James.
That would be great. I'd love to do that.
We had a blast talking about it. I'm like, man, you're on it.
Well, that's exciting. Well, you have to come back and tell us all about it. That'll be a lot of fun because you never know when you go to something like that. So there's all the technology in different spaces. Certainly the biometric, right? That's a hot thing. Mostly in health because telehealth is becoming bigger and bigger. As a matter of fact, I'm going to Michigan tomorrow. I'm going to see remember the Poco Labs guys?
I do.
Yeah, great guys. And they helped us actually create the Starry Night bed, which was the first biometric, really tech bed ever launched, and we took it to CES, I don't know, 7 years ago. But anyway, those guys helped us with that. You never know, though, when you go to those like CES shows, who you're going to meet. People that like love what you're doing, have an interest, have some kind of adjacent product that may enhance what you're doing. I mean, you just never know what you're going to run into there. So I love it. You have to come back and report back.
Well, and then the guys from Poco Labs, I mean, they also helped with the sexy sleep research where
They did.
we found out that most people don't consider intimacy whenever they go to buy a mattress. And then when they did test it like they would a retail environment, an all-foam bed versus a hybrid, they chose the hybrid for sex and sleep.
Except for you, when you go shopping for a bed and you go, I need a new playground. Isn't that what you said?
For the basement.
See, that's rude. That is rude. So anyway, all right. So we are here to talk about more important things than that, though. Not really.
I was like, important.
Certainly not as fun, anyway.
Yeah. So so a lot's been going on. I mean, obviously we're talking about some of the things that are coming up, but I don't want to forget about what's happening and what did happen in Houston and in Florida and all across the Caribbean. But one of the things, from an industry standpoint that really came out of the hurricane that hit Houston, which impacted your parents, and your brother, was Mattress Mack, and what he did for people that needed shelter and things like that. So before you go there, what's the update on your folks and your brother? And
thank you.
Doing?
By the way, for everyone that reads my blog regularly or who happened to catch that one, thank you for the incredibly kind sentiment and comments, because there was a lot of people that read that. So thank you for that. Parents are doing fine. We had to completely deconstruct everything, and FEMA came out the other day, and they're going to talk to them about, some kind of, adjustment for what everyone has lost there. 80%, I think, Mark, of the people that lost their homes in Houston specifically didn't have flood insurance. My mom and dad were in a 500-year floodplain. So why invest the $500 or whatever it was a year in a 500-year floodplain? So I think they, like many, actually were in that boat. But anyway, so got it all deconstructed, and they're working on getting drywall in right now. And my brother and sister live close, so they're living with my sister for a while. And a good friend of ours in the industry, I don't know that I should say his name, but he is an industry person, is sending a mobile home, his really killer, awesome RV, for them to live in while their home gets redone. And then another friend of ours in the industry came and brought my mom and dad a Jeep to use for the period of time because they lost their car as well. So it's all this, it's like the tornado here, right? Really crappy things happen, but in light of those things, there's always really incredibly generous, tremendous things that happen too. So they're doing fine. Thank you for asking. And then so Mack did something really cool, didn't he?
Yeah, and it's kind of like on the back end of this, you think about the people that were in need and the swift reaction of the community, and I think. I want to kind of zoom out, because while we're talking about Mattress Mack, I think there were probably a lot of people in our industry and a lot of people just in general that did the same thing. But he's really great at holding a candle to these things, because he's the second most known person in Houston, right behind George Bush.
Well, no doubt, and he's very active. And so we'll talk about Mack here in a second. Mattress Firm, I know, I just talked to them recently, and they're doing a lot. Their community outreach is doing a lot to help, because that's a Houston-based company, so that's their backyard also, and so they're doing some really great things too. But Mack really jumped on it early and said basically, okay, if you're a flood victim and your home has been flooded, come to our store. We have a place for you, so come in and we'll take care of you. We'll feed you. We'll give you a dry place to sleep, and really blew people away. I mean, lots and lots of national coverage. Now, that's not just something Mack does as a stunt. Mack is very philanthropic in Houston, and he's well known to that degree, like you said, not just because of Gallery and his furniture commercials, but because he's done so many things for the people in that community, and this is yet another example of that. So,
it's something. It reminds you, because you saw some negative press out there after the fact about Joel Osteen, the pastor in his church, and how they didn't quite open up that church, and maybe they did later on, but it wasn't at time. And it's just like a reminder about, deciding in advance who you're going to be and how quickly you're going to react, and being first, and why that matters. And you saw that juxtaposition about Mack versus the church a little bit, and you think, gosh, this is a good reminder, whenever things aren't disastrous, about thinking about who you are and how you're going to react in a situation that is extreme.
Well, and you're right. Joel, I think their problem was they originally came out and said their church was flooded, and then a bunch of pictures came out where it wasn't, or didn't appear to be. And so then people were like, hello, are you a Christian church? I mean, you should be welcoming people in. And because Mack had done what he had done, in the absence of Mack's reaction, they probably wouldn't have been in trouble like they were. But everyone was looking at Mack going, look what Mack did. Why can't you do what Mack did? So anyway, not great for them. They adjusted and ended up having people come in, I think, so good for them. But Mack sucked the oxygen out of the room for sure. He did something big and bold and quickly. And a great lesson in PR is to, if you're gonna act, do it quickly. Time matters. So being first, not you and I are playing the PR game with this event. It's tragic and all of that, but I mean, literally the lesson in it. If there's many lessons, I'm sure, but the marketing lesson in it is exactly what we're talking about. So,
well, if you think about it, I mean, yeah, it really is like you can dissect this from a PR standpoint, religious or spiritual standpoint, a personal standpoint. I mean, you can dissect it from a myriad of angles. But ultimately, what Mack did probably inspired a lot of other people to do the same thing, and allowed a lot of people to be that first follower.
Sure.
So he decided, he is a leader. I mean, and he is bold and he is decisive. And if you're a big company out there, I mean, what happens whenever it's your community that's facing something like this? It's just a good reminder to be like, okay, whenever things are calm, level set on who we're going to be.
Who you're going to be and what. So I bet you money the companies out there go, okay, wow, if we open our doors, then all these people are going to come in and everyone's going to be dirty from being out in the storm, and it will ruin our floor samples and cost us money, and how are we going to man it? So there's got to be 1,000 questions you have to answer if you're going to open yourself up to the liability of all of that on top of it. So there's a lot of problems. Now, the other side of it is, who cares, right? It's a humanitarian issue. We'll deal with those issues when they come. Having all those people on our store is the upside, so maybe we need new floor samples. Who cares? They're going to know our heart, and we'll be fine down the road. We're not worried about that. Sowing and reaping is real, and we'll benefit at some point. But that's not why you do it, and I don't think that's why they did it. But I'm just saying, because of what they did, I'm pretty sure that if people had not bought furniture at Gallery Furniture, they will become very loyal customers at this point. And by the way, all those people are going to need furniture for these homes that got flooded, right?
Yeah, and Mack's going to be there to help them out, and the people that stayed there, like you said, they're going to buy from him. I mean, the odds are really good anyway.
There's no doubt in my mind Mack or people in his family were walking through those stores, checking on people, feeding people. It wasn't like they just opened the doors and said, come on in. I can almost guarantee, not knowing this for sure, but I can almost guarantee he was there serving people, not just opening the doors to his physical address.
You can't fake that.
Nope.
You're in and you're out,
Yep.
like he's done.
Nope. No, right. Great point. No doubt.
That would be quite a charade,
Right.
It's been an ongoing thing, for that many years. No, it's impossible, I think, to fake that. And he's funny because you talk to him, and I've spoken with him a few times, and he's like the king of the one-liner, and he's a great motivational speaker, and he's very intense. And then behind the scenes, he's got this incredible heart, and he really does. And he inspires people.
Inspired me.
Yeah.
So a lot of other things going on. Epic battles.
Yeah. We were talking about like Joel Osteen and Mattress Mack. They're not against each other in any way at all. But there is something that has come to the surface in the mattress industry, and it's like a battle is brewing in Phoenix. And we were trying to figure out, is it like Mayweather and McGregor? I mean, one of them was like totally new to boxing, and one was like kind of been there for a while.
Right. I could see. I didn't think of it that way, but that's a good connection, right? Could be. So
Let's set it up and say what's happening. So, for those of you that don't know, there is a battle brewing between Tuft Needle and Mattress Firm, and it's all unfolding on the Phoenix stage. And so let's establish a quick timeline about how you see this unfolding. So what tipped it off? Like, what was the jump off?
Dahi and JT, as they launch Tuft Needle, and I give them credit for being edgy, as you and I have talked about many times. If you're going to go to market and really make impact, you kind of shouldn't be mealy-mouthed about it, right? So be bold in your approach to that. Mostly when you're going in to an industry against, cultures and stalwarts and the incumbents, right? So that would be the traditional channel of distribution, brick and mortar. Like Tempur-Pedic came in and said, inner springs stink, they're no good, select comfort. They went and punched the majority of the market right in the mouth, right, with their construction and said ours is better. Very bold thing they did. Well, Tuft Needle kind of did the same thing, putting a billboard saying mattress stores are greedy and making a case that their approach to market delivered better value to the customer. And you know what? It worked. They got a lot of attention for it. They upset a lot of people in our industry, right? So that didn't think that was appropriate. And so if you're not upsetting someone, my guess is you probably weren't strong enough with what you had done, right? So you're ultimately not going to please everybody in what you do. And so anyway, that was the first punch, I think, that was thrown. Then the rebuttal to that by Mattress Firm was their campaign of don't get boxed in. And so they did some clever graphics with that and told a story that they have to tell and e-commerce guys don't, which is, hey, look, you have selection at our place. We have great values too. And they really leaned into the benefit of shopping with brick and mortar. And there are several that, e-commerce guys can't claim. So they went hard with a rebuttal to that. Here's the problem, though. Tuft Needle has built some really great raving fans. And so the raving fans for Tuft Needle jumped all over what I think people perceive as, a big corporation, which is Mattress Firm. And they got pretty aggressive in responding to Mattress Firm's Don't Get Boxed In campaign. And so then it put Mattress Firm in a position where they were having to defend themselves now against consumers for that. So that whole thing, I think that went in a direction maybe they didn't anticipate. And it says a lot for Tuft Needle for their customer base, right? And then after that, so now you've got, after the Don't Get Boxed In, now you've got Tuft Needle coming back with the Mattress Bet, which says, go shop for a bed. If you don't like it, shop for our bed. If you buy our bed and you don't like it, then we'll return your money. Plus, we'll give you $100 if you go buy a bed at Mattress Firm. And I'm thinking when I first read it, I'm like, wow. So what is that contingent on, right? I mean, is it, no, just we'll give you $100. Go buy it. It didn't have to be of like price. Just go shop at Mattress Firm and buy a bed there, and we'll give you $100 to do it. And so I talked to Dahi about that, and so he kind of explained, part of the reason is because they're so big that, the e-commerce guys are, of course, in every zip code in the country because it's e-commerce. So they were able to do it and point out Mattress Firm because of the fact that they're so big. But boy, now you're kind of sitting back going, what's Mattress Firm going to do, right?
Well, any guesses? I mean, is this something that continues?
Well, in the blog I wrote about this, I wondered about the conversation going on at Mattress Firm corporate, right? So, and if it were me, I would be saying, oh, that's it. We're going after them, right? They're not going to get away with that.
Get him, Mayweather.
Get him, Mayweather. And you list like all the 10 things that you could do. And then you go, okay, that's all emotional and it's not strategic. So felt good to say it though, right? And then you start thinking strategically. And one of the comments I made is, what if Mattress Firm just said to all their people, hey, tell your customer, go buy sign up for the thing, because you have to sign up for the $100 bet. Go buy a Tuft Needle, return it, and then come. Not only will you get $100 for them, I'll give you another $100, and you'll get $200 off a bet here, right? So you could do something like that if you wanted to. I doubt Mattress Firm will do that, but I would assume that something like that has probably crossed their minds. And I'm sure Tuft Needle would have a rebuttal to that. But I don't know. There's a lot they could do. There's a lot they could say. Now, the question is, if you're them, strategically speaking again, by doing anything, does it fuel the message from Tuft Needle? Or do you just kind of go, okay, I'm not going to do this again. Last time we did this, we got in a big back and forth on Twitter with, Tuft Needle people. And that wasn't really great for us. That's not a good thing when you're arguing with mattress customers. So do we just kind of let it go and let it die its own death? Or do you address it, get aggressive with it? So if it were me, if I was going to address it, I would be very aggressive with it. Or if you just don't do anything and let it die, then, who knows? I don't know. What do you think? What would you do?
Okay, so I'm thinking about it a couple of different ways. So number one, it's really interesting whenever a business creates a dichotomy. So it's an us or them mentality. And so what you can do on both sides of that business is, from a Tuft Needle standpoint, they've clearly carved out the position that mattress stores are greedy. We're offering real value. Meanwhile, Mattress Firm on the other side has said, don't get boxed in. There's not one mattress for everybody. And they're kind of owning that position. So if you can get consumers to agree that those are the two options, then you become one of the two options. You're the only ones in the consideration set.
Yep.
So they're not going to go to any other brand or retailer. They're going to come to Mattress Firm or Tuft Needle. So that's actually good for both businesses potentially, because nobody else is part of the conversation. Now, meanwhile, back at the ranch, if I'm thinking about this strategically, I know because you and I have worked on this very directly. And I remember sitting in a room right here in this building years ago, and we decided if you don't like the conversation, you got to change it.
Right.
You can't be a part of the conversation, because the worst comeback of all time to you suck is
nothing.
You suck.
Well, that's true.
So we decided, whenever it came to...
well, you suck. Right?
Oh, no, you suck.
Yeah. Oh, no.
My dad can beat up your dad.
Yeah, right.
So we decided that, look, you can't participate in that conversation because they're going to be better at it than you. There's a guy that live streams all of his grappling workouts, like he's world class, okay? And so the night before, like a fight, if you're his competitor, you can go on to his live stream and you can watch him get ready. And his competitors do that. They watch him get ready. And his whole philosophy is, if you play my game, I'm going to be better at it than you.
Because it's my game.
Because it's my game.
Right.
And you're thinking about me. So I kind of think about business and strategy and communication and marketing the same way. Like, why would I come right back at you? I'm playing your game at this point, which means I'm buying into your narrative, which means you're going to be better at it than me because you've probably planned it out. So anyway, it's interesting. From a category standpoint, you could become this dichotomy, like the only two people in the conversation that matter. But from a continuing strategy standpoint, I don't know if I'd want to get sucked into somebody else's conversation, whether that's on Mattress Firm side or Tuft Needle side, either one.
I think you make a great point. I don't think that Mattress Firm got sucked into fighting Tuft Needle's fight, though. I think that would have looked more like Mattress Stores Are Greedy, and then Mattress Firm directly answering that question. Instead, they came back with don't get boxed in, which was kind of this whole other thing about why there's more value shopping brick and mortar. It was a reaction, but not a direct reaction to what they had said. So but I agree with you fundamentally that an argument is a good thing in a sense because you are bringing attention on your two companies. I hadn't thought about it like you had said, the dichotomy. I like that. That's absolutely true. If you're Lisa or Casper, do you kind of want to like throw yourself into the fight?
Yeah.
Just to be part of the conversation, right?
Well, and that's where you can use, that grappling match and walk onto the floor as the ring card girl.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the match is going on and like everybody's focused on that. And then if you come in as a third brand, like the third gravitating body,
right.
Something weird enters the conversation,
but,
you could hijack the buzz for a little bit.
Boy,
as long as you do it on your own terms.
Let me tell you, if you're the third gravitational body in that scenario and you see Mattress Firm and Tuft Needle duking it out, you better bring a chair from ringside and be prepared to go in and whack somebody over the head because you need to have something completely unique to say, right?
It's fun to think about.
Wow.
Hey,
It's
you
a
know
very
what?
violent, physical conversation.
If it'd be like this, I'm the greatest Mark podcast host there is.
Oh, but no, you're not. I'm the greatest podcast host ever on earth that has ever done a Mattress Show podcast. Clearly.
Named Mark.
Named Mark, sure.
I'm the greatest Mark podcast hoster there is.
And I'm supposed to now say, no, I'm the greatest podcast host. You
See,
know, someone's
no,
going to
no.
edit this, and then we're going to sound like the most egotistical narcissist ever.
No, what
We're trying to prove a point.
The point
Stick with
is,
it.
you should only listen to podcasts hosted by people named Mark. We're creating a false dichotomy.
Oh, please prepare me next time. I had no idea where that was going. Anyway, so it's clever. I think, I don't know. I give both credit. I think Tuft Needle is starting an interesting conversation, and so we'll see where Mattress Firm goes with it. Maybe they don't go anywhere.
I would bet.
All right, what is your bet? And we'll rewind
no,
this.
Here's the
all
bet.
right, all right.
I bet if you were to do a poll of all the major regions of the U.S., like major U.S. cities, and I know maybe Phoenix isn't like a major U.S. city, but if you were to survey like top 50 and Phoenix is in that set, I bet the category awareness around mattresses is higher in Phoenix than any place in the country right now. And the reason I point that out is because think about that from an industry standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
If you have more people thinking about mattresses, then you're going to have more interest in that, and you're probably going to sell more mattresses and get people thinking about their sleep more. So ultimately, what I'm doing is putting a nice layer of icing over the top of this and saying, what if we had more interesting, dynamic, vocal marketing, even if it's between two companies in these markets and we got more people thinking about sleep. All I'm saying is right now in the Phoenix market, you probably have more interest around sleep and mattresses than any place else in the country.
Well, don't you think it's this, and I want to be brief here because I know we're trying to keep these shorter so people can listen to these as they work out and drive, right? So that's good. Consumable podcast from Dos Marcos.
Fine, I guess.
Well, I mean, hey, let's be sensitive to
If you're trying to cut me off, just say it.
No. I'm trying to tell you I want to be brief, which I've already blown because I've explained it all, that I'm trying to be brief, and now I'm not.
You need to move on.
You see what I'm saying? Now I forgot my point. See how bad that? See how horrible that is? No, for Tuft Needle, in the sense of what they're saying, though, how confident is it that they say, I mean, from a consumer perspective, if you're kind of on the fence about buying a bed in a box, but you're so confident, right? It's the kind of a little bit of the Santa Claus on the Miracle on 34th Street, right? The little kid gets up in his lap and Santa says, hey, we don't have it, but go to Gimbel's. They've got it. I think that's how that went. And the consumers loved it, right? They were like, hey, yeah, you know what? I'm so confident. I'll send you there. You'll be back. You'll be back at my store. A car sales guy that says, hey, I've got the Honda Accord at this price. You can go shop anywhere in town, but you'll be back because I'm not part of that deal. I'm part of this deal, and I'm going to take care of you better than you. The confidence in that statement by Tuft Needle saying, go shop there. It doesn't matter to me. You'll come back because our products are better. There's something to that. I think that's a pretty bold statement, and I think consumers like the confidence. Just saying.
Well put. Hey, you know, Don Draper said it once. People want so badly to be told what to do, they'll listen to anybody. And the reason he said that as an advertising guy was people want confidence in their decisions. So you're saying with a brand communicating that very clearly and with a big stake in the ground, it gives people that confidence they want in their purchase.
I think it does. I really do. No, I got to go because I've got 7th graders. I mentioned I have 7th graders.
You got to get back to the basement. Hey, good luck with that, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, Greg, can you hit us out with like some mood music?
Oh, stop it.
I'll listen.
Stop it.
Very high.